guys, today we're going to be going in depth into playing single note funk lines and the three most common ways you're going to be hearing these played. That is a muted style, more of a popping kind of aggressive picking style, and a strummed attack. Be sure to come by TastyGuitar.com, get the free tab on this lesson by subscribing on the bottom of the homepage. Check out membership where you get interactive Soundslice tab, much more. And I'm very happy to announce my second TrueFire course just released, the R&B Fills Playbook, teaching you from the ground up how to use double stops, thirds, fourths, six, how to connect chords with nice little melodies. Check that out in the description below. Tune up and let's get started. Alright guys, let's go ahead and break this first technique down. Now this is single note lines but palm muted. Now most of the time what I see my students kind of get wrong here is either muting it too much or too little. The hand placement or the palm placement is really important here. If you go too far forward, there, you're going to choke the note off too much, and we don't want that. And if you don't mute it enough, the note's going to ring through. So we're just going to place the side of a palm of our hand kind of right in front of the bridge. That's usually the sweet spot there. And this is kind of the tone you're going for here. Now my personal preference in getting the tone for this technique is all the way forward and one back. That's if you're on a Strat or you know, a Tele with a 5-way or a 3 pickups like I have here. And that's really the reason why I moved to a 3 pickup setup on a Tele, is to get that tone. Also, another thing to pay attention on this first technique here, the muted lines, is we're really not digging in that much. I'm kind of playing it very laid back, just very natural picking. I'm not digging in very much. That's going to be in the next technique. Now let's go ahead and break this rhythm down here. This is in C minor. I'm starting just by strumming on a C minor 7 chord, the first and last strums on beat 1. Right there. Keep the hand swinging in 16th notes. Okay, now from there you're going to move to that palm muted line. So you have to, within the space of 1 16th note, go from that strummed motion all the way down to just hitting the D string muted. So you really got to tighten it up. Right there. So you probably need to isolate that part. And then the muted line starts on beat 2. Going to start with just hitting the D string muted to the A note at the 7th fret. The B flat note up at the 8th fret 3 times. To the C note. The E flat down at the 6th fret on the A string. And then the A note at the 7th fret again. So here's that first measure very slowly. Again. And in the second measure of this pattern, I move down to the B flat at the 1st fret, chromatically to the C, up to the E flat, F, and back. And you may wonder why I didn't play that line right here at the 6th fret on the low E string. It's just because I preferred the tone down there on the A string. So here is the entire line. Again. Pick it up. So the key things to remember about this technique is not placing the palm too far forward and cutting off the notes completely. That's not it. You just want to place it right down by the bridge, lightly lay it down there. I'm not pushing down on the strings. And just also pick attack is really natural and very clean. Alright, with this technique, you are going to pick much more aggressively to kind of get that string popping a little bit. Not muting it nearly as much, maybe not at all. Now when I do this, I tend to angle the pick downwards a little bit as well to kind of get that attack. And also this time around, I didn't play that second half of the line down at the 1st fret. I played it up at the 6th fret because with this new sharper attack, more aggressive, I got kind of a more bright tone versus what we had at the beginning. So let's play this one all together. Pick it up. All right, with this technique, a lot of people refer to this as skank, but call it what you want. It's just a strummed attack now on the single note. Basically what you're doing here is you're getting that same note. I'm starting on that A note at the 7th fret on the D string. You're getting that note, but then you're also strumming through that note and getting the G, B, and high E muted. So you gotta make sure that that index finger is laying over those strings, but not pressing down hard enough to sound any of those notes underneath. So it's kind of a tricky thing. You got to get it in just the right spot, just like that, and follow through. This is the one thing I see my students getting wrong with this at first, is people tend to just hit maybe a couple strings there, like this, or maybe almost in a picked motion. The thing really to get this correctly, the sound, is really follow through and get all of those strings above the string that you're actually aiming for. That's where you're going to get that really nice percussive sound. So if I'm playing a note on that D string, I'm going to aim for that string, but then also follow through and make sure that I strum all the strings above it as well. That's when you're going to get that nice percussive sound. Now I did change up the line slightly here to make it easier to play. Another thing that you will notice is I tend to kind of come in at an angle and approach the strings kind of in an angle here to get a really punchy sound. Now you'll go in depth in that technique if you check out the lesson on my channel called This Technique Really Hurts. Okay, that's with the angled in approach. But here I'm not going to do that so much. Check out that video if you want to learn that. So we started by hitting the chord. Then I covered everything up just hitting the dead strings. Okay, then going to grab that 7th fret note right there. Move up to the 8th fret. Hit those 3 times, making sure you follow through all the way down here. You don't want to do this. You're not going to get the right feel. And then you're going to move to the 10th fret. Down to the 8th fret on the G string. Back to the 10th fret on that last 16th note. If you hear some open strings ringing through, make sure that when you go up to that 10th fret there, that you still have that index finger muting across the top 3. That's kind of a common mistake people make, is when you go into there, kind of lifting the finger too much, and that stuff will ring open. And then in the second half of this example, we're going back to that kind of heavy pick attack again. All right, now here's the entire example real slowly.